Hello everyone, welcome to UInSports. Once a sports person, always is a sports person. So we are very excited today to bring you one of my friend, Kahan Desai. Kahan Desai is basically from India, but recently he shifted to Canada, and we will see his journey from the sports chase perspective. It is very fascinating, and the kind of stories which Kahan has, those will certainly interest you. So, without wasting time, let me introduce you, Kahan Desai. Hi, Kahan.
Hello,
Welcome
Roshan.
to You Sports Podcast.
Thank you. Thanks a lot to invite me.
Yeah, pleasure is ours.
Yeah.
So, Kahan, before we go in more details, can you please tell our audience briefly about yourself?
So I am Kahan Desai. I come from Gujarat, Ahmedabad, and I'm just 19 years old doing computer science right now from Conestoga here, and I have been playing chess since more than 10 years, and have had a lot of competitions at state level and national level. And right now, actively working as a chess coach as my part-time job. So yeah.
Thank you, Kahan. So, uh, we will really start from your childhood. Um, how you started playing chess and at what age really it started?
This goes back when I was 10 years old, which is quite late as per today's standards because nowadays there are kids around 5 year olds, 3 year old even beginning to play chess. But I learned quite late. And then by the time I came into sixth grade, when I was 11, 12 ish, I got selected into Khel Mahakumbh, which is one of the state level sport event, which also includes chess. And at that time is when I actually took chess seriously around sixth grade. So yeah.
Sixth grade means that must be you are 11 years old.
Yeah, 11 or 12, something like that. Yeah.
And you started playing from Ahmedabad, or that was your village? Where exactly it started?
Oh no. I have been living in Ahmedabad for all my life, so I began playing chess in Ahmedabad itself. One of my neighbors was the one who actually taught me. My like none of my parents know about chess. I don't have any friends in school who played chess, but it was mostly my neighbor who instigated that feeling of chess. And then on my birthday, I still remember in fifth grade, on my birthday, my mom gifted me a chess board, and ever since then, I used to play it by myself, like a crazy guy, like Fisher, just playing by yourself, no matter if there is an opponent or not. And that is when my mom realized that, okay, he has really some talent for some chess. And so that's next year when I got into some summer camp where I learned more about chess.
So mom realized that okay, our kid is having that special talent, and let's continue playing him chess.
Yeah, my mom and also one of my neighbors both kind of played equal roles. But yeah, I've been lucky. What can I say?
Okay, no,
Yeah.
certainly you're lucky. Means I met your mom and dad, and they always keep saying about you very proudly. So, uh, so that's where it all started. But then how that journey unfolded, because it's still early years in playing chess. But then when you realize that okay, I am ready to compete at city or a district, what we call, or state level.
So that was after sixth grade when I came into seventh grade and eighth grade. Slowly and gradually, like I was playing a lot at school level and district level already. That was because of Khel Mahakumbh. But never really had as much ambitions because I was always busy with studies and all. I used to participate in Olympiads a lot, so that was a different thing. But around eighth grade, when I discussed with a lot of friends, that they told that you don't want to be a tadpole in a pond. You want to get out of the pond and go into the sea and test out the waters of actually how strong you are. Because I used to think that I am fine, I'm doing fine in chess. But then one day when I actually registered for a state level tournament and I went there, I saw how much I don't know, and I just got humbled very very nicely. And is that is when I realized that I need to pick up a lot of things. I am still very low in competition, and I am lagging behind in a lot of ways. So that is when I actually took things seriously, much more seriously than ever. And I began playing a lot of tournaments. I began to take proper coaching for a bit, for a bit, and I began to make friends who could help me with chess resources.
So you started taking coaching. What does it mean? Means you were uh, kind of going to an institute where the coaching classes were happening, or how was that?
So I actually, in general, chess coaching is mostly one to one, like individual. It's not really in terms of institutes. However, I was very unaware of how was the coaching scenario like at that time. And so what I did is basically I joined a summer camp kind of a thing in my school time in around 8th grade, I think. And that is when in the summer camp I met a coach, and that coach told me that he has an institute, and I went there with like an entire batch coaching kind of a thing, where I learned for a year and a half or something before I had to drop off because of studies and everything, and also it wasn't really a thing I was looking forward to seriously, and my parents also were not really ambitious about it. However, that was just a part of coaching where I learned from. I would say personally, a lot of my coaching came from a lot of my friends and connections,
Okay.
which I made through playing tournaments and making friends through tournaments. A lot of them younger than me, even they taught me a lot about chess then, and like I could learn myself. So, so yeah, both of those things like worked equally. My kind of institute coaching, and also my friends who coached me a lot.
So then that time, this e-chase, chase.com, those were around that time, or it's mainly that you were playing with your friends and maybe during the tournaments, all those. How exactly was that?
Well, at that time, certainly there was Lichess and there was chess.com. However, I was not really someone who used to go online and play a lot. So I had accounts, I used to play rarely, but most of my playing was offline. In tournaments, we used to, in between rounds, we used to do time pass by playing some casual games, some bug house and whatnot. Bug house is a variation of chess, by the way.
Okay, I was not aware of
Yeah,
that.
it's fine. It's fine. It's just a fun thing in chess we do a lot. And then also a lot of times we used to just hang out for just playing chess. Like that was the whole purpose of hanging out. People hang out for having dinner or having party or something like that.
So what was
We used to hang
what was
out
your purpose?
just playing chess. We used to go to each other's home just to play chess. I used to invite our friends just to play chess. And that essentially was the source of my practice.
So you made quite a friends.
A lot of friends. I was in general I was really shy in school and everything, but particularly when I used to go into the chess environment, and when I used to go around people who used to love chess as well, just like me, I used to connect with them instantly. This is something that is
I was
common.
about to ask you that question. That means in general, how chess really helped you in education and while making friends. So, what is your perspective on that?
Well, there's a lot to say. I'll start off by saying that in terms of education, first of all, I think once I began playing chess is also once my grades began to improve. Now that might be a coincidence, but I like to believe it's more of a cause and effect, because what happened is that when I used to play chess seriously, competitively, the amount of focus a classical game requires, because well, nowadays rapid and blitz are quite famous, but at that time classical was the go-to. Classical, which means the standard format, long time format. And so when you play classical 3 to 4 hours of chess game in one go, you need to have that focus, you need to have that determination, you need to have that confidence, and all of those things used to replicate in my studies. So when I used to study for examinations, I used to say to my mom, I still remember that when I give exams, I almost feel like I see the book beside me. Like there is no book, but I can imagine the entire book beside me. But then she used to point out how it's mostly because when I study, I concentrate so much that I can literally remember the whole pages. So, I mean, you can call it a coincidence, but for me, it was very clear that because I was able to concentrate for long periods in chess, that it translated into my studies. Similarly, the work ethic, like when I should prepare for chess, you prepare for like months and months, and then a tournament is like 2 days. For some people, it is like really frustrating, but for me, that was the way it worked. And so I was used to that kind of work cycle where you work for a lot of time and then you execute in 1 or 2 days. That gives you that performance skills, which is lacking a lot of people. So that was one thing. What was the second question you asked about education?
About
and
friends.
Friends. Oh yeah. Sorry, I lost the track of that.
But
So about friends, it's very interesting. As I already mentioned, I was very shy in school and other places. But whenever I used to go to a tournament, it's not just friends like my age, but any age, even like uncles or aunties or like very kids or anyone, everyone, because there is a common bond, right? There is chess to analyze. So whoever is my opponent, that is for sure my friend. Whenever I pair up against someone, if I don't know him, I am going to talk to him after the game for sure for analysis. And that one thing led to another, and then you talk about more things, and then you make friends. And then besides that, also parents, a lot of parents approach you and they find out about how good of a player you are, and then so on, and they guide you also. That also kind of helps a lot. So this kind of things, like, just happen automatically when you start playing chess. That really helps because you don't have to be shy. There is no reason to be shy because you have a purpose to talk about, and you're not talking about random things. Whereas people who are shy usually don't like to talk about hi, hello, and so on. No, no, no. I want to talk about on point stuff. So with chess, it is very easy to do that. So yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah. And then in which year you played national? I think you played a couple of times national, right?
Yes. So this was quite later in my career. By the time I came in ninth grade, there was quite a long break that I took from chess. So that was around ninth grade when I played my first rating tournament, where I gained rating, international rating. It was in Gujarat itself, and after that I quit chess for a year because 10th grade, and then I was planning to come back into it from 11th, but then lockdown happened, and
So do you want to elaborate on that? Because obviously you told me, I know about it, but to our audience, do you want to tell about that you're preparing for the IIT and then how these all things happen?
Yeah.
And then maybe we will go to how the journey from India to Canada happened. Nothing was planned, right?
Yeah, nothing is planned, of course. So the plan was after ninth grade when I opened my rating in FIDE in an international tournament. The plan was that from now on, chess is done. I have to focus on 10th grade, and then I was already preparing for IIT JEE since ninth grade. So that was the primary focus. I didn't even think about chess being a serious thing in my life. Although I was always interested, but surroundings have their own effect. But so what was happening is that in 10th grade I didn't play chess at all, just studying. Board exams came, and then in board exams.
So just to give you an idea that somebody who doesn't know about Indian education system, 10th, standard 10th and standard 12th. So uh, that's where we call the board exams. Now, I think 10th board exam is no more there. It is only the 12th board exam.
I think there is still in some states in my state.
Yeah, but most of those, I think
Priorities usually
very recently they stopped doing that. But that is one I would say relief.
Yeah,
sport.
definitely.
But those are very competitive. Those board exams are very competitive, and that's where either you can focus on education or you can focus on the sports. And always it is a dilemma.
Yeah, you never know where to go.
And that yeah. So just wanted to give a context to our audience that what is the board exam which you were referring to. So it is really the standard 10 exam, which is a deciding exam, right? Because then you go to 11 and 12, and then you decide that which branch, which line,
Which dream.
either you are going to become engineer or doctor or something like that.
Yes, definitely. So based on that critical aspect of my career, that I had to stop playing chess, and then in the 11th grade again, the plan was not to completely come back in chess, but the plan was that I'll prepare with IIT and besides I'll play some chess here and there, because 11th grade is still a bit relaxed than 12th grade.
So you are still playing chess here and there.
I mean, that was the plan. Here is what happened. As soon as the board exams got finished, there came the prime minister saying that, okay, we are having lockdown for a month. And then I was like, wow, I got a month free for nothing. So then I got a lot of time to spend time on resting and doing some recreation. That is when I actually caught up chess online really fast. And there was a time around when the chess was booming, particularly in the initial days of lockdown, when Chess Base India and Samarana, and they all basically did a lot of promotion of chess in India and overall in the world also in streaming. So I caught up on it a lot, and it fascinated me as to how many tournaments were being held online, and how many people were beginning to come into chess, and that just made me stay more into chess and less into studies because there was so much time in hand, right? And so during that phase of the whole 11th grade in lockdown, I I met with a lot of resources, a lot of people online on Discord, and through a lot of other social media. I was able to find a lot of resources to study myself. Even though there were no tournaments happening in real world, I was still active online in terms of chess. And the plan of just having chess as a casual thing completely was a disaster. Now I was actually doing chess as a serious thing for an entire year because there was so much time in hand, right? No traveling time to go anywhere to classes or anything. So it kind of mixed in with my studies. And when I came in 12th grade, I decided that actually, you know what, I always knew I had a passion and that I'm not going to stop playing chess just because of the board exams. Because I feel like chess became more of a stress reliever for me during that phase of lockdown where everybody was kind of home alone and sad and sick and whatnot. I made tons of friends online, just one of whom I met actually in Toronto. We'll talk about it.
In a short while.
Yes, definitely. But my point was what I was saying. Yeah, my point was that in lockdown, while studying, chess was because I don't play any other games. I don't play any other recreational activity. So this was my only, besides Rubik's cubes, of course. So it became my stress buster. So even during board exams, like of 12th grade, I was again getting back into chess because I told my mom that mom, I am studying, but to cope with the stress of studying, I need to play chess as well. And that really worked out really well because it kept me stable and I was good and well. And that is when I got selected into nationals around just after the board exams. And in May of 2 years ago, in May, I played the nationals in Jaipur, and then one more in Pune.
Okay, so you played two national. Uh, at any given time, you played with like Vichy or Gujarati or
With Gujarati, no. I have not had a chance even to see them in person, honestly. One of those unlucky players, because most of our tournaments were state level. And even the like Redding tournaments were very scarce, so I didn't really get a chance to attend one of those events where those grandmasters come. However, I have met with some other grandmasters like Stani, or you won't know about them, but they are quite popular in South India. That is Stani. I have also met the Indian Mikhail Tal Ratnakaran, and one of my visits in Bangalore had my roommate was an FM Ritu Vispara. He's also a great player and a very strong player.
About Bangalore, you want to tell about your first experience attending out station tournament where I think you came and you slept, something like that happened, right?
Yeah, there is an interesting story with. I don't know how you know about that, but wow. Okay, so that's a bit of a secret, but now I'm revealing it. So after board exams were finished, I planned my first out of state the tournament trip, which I never really thought of doing because I was not as serious as I was at that back then. So I went to Bangalore, my first like alone travel, and that is where I had to book room by myself, had to book flights by myself. Like flights, first of all, very expensive, so I had to figure out the rates and everything. Very interesting experience to learn about how to travel yourself. And then I stayed with my friends. My roommates were my colleagues from my state, and the tournament initially was good. And in the midway somewhere, what happened, as I mentioned, is that I was really tired. One of the rounds really went really bad. I blundered my piece for no reason. And one of like as any other chess player, I also got a bit sad for a while. And as soon as I went home, back to the room, my friends were not done yet, so they were still yet to come. And I finished my game early, blundering everything early, and went home. And then I just locked the door from inside and slept on music, full music, early in the evening, 6 p.m. And then my friends came around like 10 p.m. and my sleep is a deep sleep. I like really sleep deeply. So they knocked in for a while. No one opened the door because I was the only one inside. And then after like 2 hours, around 12 a.m., I suddenly woke up and I was like, wait, there is so many missed calls of my roommates. And they were so angry at me when I opened. They were sleeping outside in the balcony. Oh my god, that was like interesting experience, I would say. But yeah, that was quite a memory.
You must have given them a treat, right?
Later on. Well, they gave me a treat. No. They were really, yeah. I had to really compensate for it over the year because they kept teasing me. Even today, there is like sometimes they tease me for that I sleep a lot. But okay, that actually was quite a learning for me to understand that no matter how big my problems were at that time, I need to always be aware of like, that, okay, there is someone who is staying with me, so I need to take care of that as well. I need to be more mindful than I was. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's some learning to take.
So then, India, from India to Canada, how does that happen? How you shifted? What was the reason behind coming to Canada?
So, as I already discussed before, I was preparing for IIT JEE for quite a bit, but things didn't really work out well in my favor because the lockdown really hit hard. And as much as chess helped me, it also took away a lot of my time from practice, which kind of loosened my grip over studies. And so at the end moment, one of my friends, my classmates, suggested to go to Canada. And my mom was like, why don't you also go to Canada? So I was like, yeah, I can think of it. I was really someone who was looking forward to go into those premier institutes like IITs. But, things don't always work out. It's my first experience of learning that I've always been treated kindly with by nature. But
Life doesn't go as
yeah, life
planned.
always doesn't go well as per plan. But essentially, that is when during mid 12th grade, while I was still like chill and not as much into studies much, um, I just decided to give IELTS and see if things go well. And things went well in IELTS. So I had good English speaking skills and listening skills and whatnot. So I got good grades in that. And then I got into Conestoga College for computer science. And I was like, if I'm going to come for masters here anyways, then might as well come earlier and then see what happens. Like maybe there is something more than, because definitely I knew that there is more opportunities because less people, right? And but there was no such ambitious in terms of chess. It was mostly just studies.
Now that's where actually now you came to Canada, right?
Yeah,
And chess was at that time was not in your mind that chess would help you to survive in Canada.
definitely
That's
not.
and that's where I want you to explain more that now how really without thinking about the chase is really helping you in not surviving, I would say, but really acting as a big support system here in Canada.
I'll start with story back in India for a bit.
Yeah.
If you help let
Please,
me.
please.
So going back to the Bangalore tournament again. After that, May came, and now we are in May, and already I am getting my admissions in September. I'm going to Canada in September, so I know that I have 6 month period to do whatever I want to. Not even 6 months, like 5 months period or 4 months. So my plan originally was that I will play chess by the time I'm in India, because I knew that I thought that Canada does not have as much of chess awareness or whatnot. So I thought that whatever I have to play with chess, I have this time in India, and you just don't have anything else to do, so might as well just play chess for the whole
I
day.
have to fulfill my life here
Exactly.
before going to Canada.
Exactly. So the idea was when I go to Canada, everything is done. I'm just studying and I'm doing part-time job. And the idea of part-time job was that some kind of cashier job Walmart job or something,
Yeah.
something, anything that is enabling me to pay my fees by myself.
Right.
But not at all just not even a thought process. I mean, people used to joke around that saying that Kahan, you will coach people in like Canada, right? I was like, how do you think it's possible? I don't even think there are players there. Anyways, so that summer turned into summer entirely in I just played chess, I played nationals, I played a bunch of tournaments. That is where I also was lucky enough to find my first students, which was pure luck. I went to nationals and a lot of parents liked my passion. One of the parents said one to another, and then I got into this coaching.
Oh, so you started coaching already
in
when
India.
you were
In India, yes. That was very casual initially, but then things turned out to be really good for the parents and the students.
Mhm.
So they actually like told me that, Kahan, you need to become professional. You are
Yeah,
doing really good.
I will definitely second on that. Based on
Yeah.
my experience with you, you are a really good coach when it comes to chess,
So-
about your passion and all that.
So thank you, by the way. So that things really turned out really well. So I was kind of sad by the time I was leaving India that, oh no, I already built quite a reputation in terms of coach or even in terms of player in my state. which I always dreamed of doing. That somehow someone will remember me as a reputed person. It was a good feeling while it lasted. But then I came to Canada, and now I am in Canada. Initial months, of course, feeling quite lonely. Didn't get a job immediately because the job market is still down. It was down back then as well. I was studying. I was doing fine. Chess was completely turned off because no tournaments, nothing. I had no awareness. That is when I came across the chess club that is there in Kitchener Waterloo Chess Club, and as soon as I found about it, I immediately went there and seeked some practice and whatnot. Every Tuesday it happens, so I was going there weekly since then.
By the way, that's
That
where I
is
met Kahan Desai.
Yes, that is
So
where we met as
he
well.
was a coach,
And
and I was taking my son there to just casually play chess because, as Kahan mentioned, not too many places where you can play chess. But then that is really a nice work which community is doing, is bringing all the kids, not only kids, like there are from 5 years to what was 75 years. Everyone is
everyone
coming and playing
almost.
with
There
each
is
other.
even 80-year-old.
So that
Yeah.
was really amazing work done by city, Kitchener
Yes.
Waterloo City, providing that sort of facility and giving that sort of exposure to
I mean, not
kids.
the Krishna Waterloo city. To talk about it now that I know of a lot of cities other than Krishna Waterloo also. In general, in like at least in Ontario, there is this concept of community centers that I have never seen before in India, which is awesome because we do have chess clubs back home as well, but they are not as proactive as they are in here.
As a community,
As a community,
it's a different. So
yes,
this community angle which plays a role here, that is like more outgoing, bringing community together. That is really a good thing.
in India, this thing is more of just competitive. If you want to play chess, you have to be competitive,
Yeah, and
or
then
you
we
just
have
you cannot just go for
institutes,
casual.
coaching classes, and all that.
Exactly, a lot
So,
of
but there is no like community
yeah,
guided
just
thing.
casual and just generic. Like nothing much serious, but nothing much competitive either.
Mhm.
So that was really good, by the way, when I discovered the chess club. And as it turned out, in the third or fourth visit at the chess club itself, I met you, and from there on, I began to know you. A lot of other people as well, by the way. A lot of amazing friends I made there. As I already told you, in chess, it has
right.
always
And
been.
we will talk
It
about
has-
collision as well.
Oh yes.
How that collision turned your chase gathering event.
Oh yes. Story. Yeah, that one will keep it for later. But I was saying that in that chess club itself, what happened was that I made connections. Right, I knew the president then. Back then, I used to volunteer for them also. I used to help them a lot. I was searching for part-time job still. I found some sales job, random sales job, which actually helped me a lot as well. But that was just like just for my survival. And then for the initial 6 months until last year in summer, I used to do that job before. A lot of the chess connection that I made in chess club started offering me gigs. Like one of the gigs, very small gigs, but so many that they turned out to be right now at this point. It is such that I am doing more than 4 gigs at a time, and all of them, although they are small, altogether they make me survive in Canada.
So
So
those are supporting you, but the good thing is that it is your passion. Chase is your passion, right?
oh yeah,
So you are doing something which is related to your passion, and that really satisfies you as well.
that definitely is the biggest factor, right? Because before, like, if you think about it, my idea, as I told you, that part-time job, the idea was that I'll do anything that can make me survive. I didn't have any idea about chess for them. Even when I visited the chess club, I didn't know that this would convert into, because I didn't know the value of connections back then.
Right.
I told you, I was very shy. I had friends in chess, but that's about it. I didn't know the value of the connections. My mom had always told me that, Kahan, make sure that my dad particularly would tell me that, Kahan, when you go to Canada, make sure to create public relations, make sure to make connections. And I was like, okay, I understand, but I don't get the point. Like, I don't see the point. But then, as it turned out, in chess club, when I made those connections, when I was able to make an impact on the people there. I gave some lectures also there. That is when I realized that what happens is people identify you, and then what happens is when they encounter something in their life, they can offer it to you, and you can benefit from it because you met them. Simply because of that. If you never met them, you may have never been able to go to the situation even. So it's all about supporting your own luck, right? Because it's kind of like, yes, you might get lucky, but if you make connections, you're definitely more probable to get
It's
lucky.
basically the networking. Right?
Yes, networking. So that was something I realized while with like having in chess, like being a member at chess club, and having the gigs in summer. I was just amazed. But when the first year got in the school, I still remember in City of Kitchener. Sorry, in City of Kitchener, when the first time Kyle, who was the president back then, he told me that he's still the president, kind of, but he told me that we want to run the youth program in City of Kitchener, but we don't have enough volunteers in here in our club right now, so we need someone else to actually go there. I was like, I'm ready. If it is a paid job, then even if it was volunteering, I was like, I don't care because it's about me contributing to the
But
chess
there is
community.
nothing wrong in a paid job because you are here
Yeah,
as a student,
exactly.
and then obviously you got to support yourself, right? So that is the first option which you look for,
Exactly.
rather than the free voluntary event. You are basically looking for the paid part-time jobs.
And I'm really grateful that the fact that he considered me before going to someone else. And whatever the point, at the end of the day, he considered me. So that is really something that must be that I must have made my image such that he considered me, right? And so that ended up giving me a gig at City of Kitchener, which was a decent job. We used to do board games program in downtown community center, and not just chess, all the kind of board games and different kind of activities. And that job was much more, how do I say, closer to my passion than it was in sales, for example, because sales was not really my thing, didn't really work out well. But when I went into board games and then chess, things really became not really work, but more like just what I would anyways do. Because, for example, doing youth chess, I would anyways do it even for free because I like it. I like chess in general, so I would be happy to teach people chess. One thing is that chess and teaching both kind of come hand in hand with me personally because my mom is a teacher, so I get some inspirations of teaching
You
from
inherit
her as
that.
well. You can say I inherit, you can say I learned, but either way, I like it a lot myself. So yeah, that was kind of a turning point, a pivot in my Canadian journey in Canada, that I actually began to work that I didn't really feel as work. It was more of just a part of my life, and I was earning money. So as they say,
That's even better.
even better, yeah, one better than one, too. So something like that.
And then, do you want to touch base on how that network got extended to your own college and then Waterloo University? So maybe quickly touch on that.
Oh yes, definitely. So this is now again we are back to last year's summer. I was in City of Kitchener and then things went well. And then when City of Kitchener things got slowed down in the school year, I again became very active in the regular chess club, and that is where I met the University of Waterloo's students who came there newly, and I made connections with them, and they wanted help with the UW chess club. So I was like, I'm willing to help. I just didn't even ask for anything. I was like, I'm willing to help, and they liked it. And ever since then, I was trying to help them with the chess club as well. I was trying to give them ideas for tournaments, and even during that time only, we had a tournament for ourselves, right?
Right,
Remember
right. We
the
did one
UInSports
promotional.
tournament?
Yes.
Yes, during that time around. So that was about the UW connections, and that actually helped me a lot to kind of learn more about what are my prospects in my career in computer science, because those friends were all in computer science and math.
Mhm.
And even till date, I take guidance from them. It's really helpful. And besides, in my college, I was even before I approached the chess club, I was trying to make a chess club in my college, but apparently they already had a chess club, and which was not active at all, but they didn't allow another chess club of the same topic to happen. So things didn't really work out until I kept gathering people on a WhatsApp group. Typical Indian mentality that if I can't make a chess club, I'll make a group of myself and I'll gather people myself. So then I just went to WhatsApp and made a group of like 30 people. I used to go and ask people individually, like, do you play chess? Like randomly. Like even if I see someone, even a hint of someone who is shy or like focused, something like that, I see some characteristics, I was, do you play chess by any chance? And if they say yes, I just like, can you give me a number? Can I add you in the WhatsApp group? And that's how I made a WhatsApp group of over 40 people from my college itself. And this was not recognized immediately, by the way. It took over a year for someone to identify this. And somehow I came across a person who was working at esports hub of my college. And he referred me to his manager there, who was Zach Dodge, who also happened to like chess. He was like, oh, we are looking for a flexible game like chess to be a part of our esports facility. And this is in the late September last year. And that is when I told them that, okay, let me have a tournament with you guys. And that was again not a paid thing, but more of a just because I liked it a lot. I was like, let me have a tournament for the college. and they liked my organization skills. They interviewed me on the spot itself, and then they were like, okay, you know what? Next term in winter 2024, do you want to make an academic team of chess? I was like, why not? Sure, I would love to. I didn't even know if it was a job, but before they told me that it's actually a job, we're gonna pay you weekly. I was like, wow. And long story short, right now we are we're in quarterfinals of Collegiate Chess League for our
Wow,
academy team,
that's
and the
great.
quarterfinals is happening this Saturday. That is next Saturday, I mean.
Best of luck to your team.
Thank you, and we are really hopeful that next semester or upcoming semesters will be soon in the varsity team, where we all get scholarships. In fact, as athletes.
That is very great.
So we are considered student athletes actually, which is awesome that I was able to bring chess into an athletic department of my college.
In such a way.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
So that helped a lot in terms of, how do I say, another gig for me, as first of all as a part-time job, and second of all to bring the awareness of chess in college, because I knew there are players. There is always players.
That is one thing which I found about chess is such a silent game, and there are so many students, there are so
Players.
many means as I always get fascinated when I see them that oh man, there are these many players who really play chess, and there are so many silent players who are like there.
Yes.
They I think they are in their hibernation, and whenever there are tournaments, they are basically jumping out, and then you can see them everywhere.
Yeah, it's kind of hibernation. Honestly, now that you say it, it's right. I thought of it more of like just passive players. I call them.
Mhm.
Like they play, but they don't really show up to any events as
Right.
often as other players because busy, maybe shy. I don't know what reason, but it's just something that happens with chess. Also, maybe because chess as a sport or as a game is not identified enough in the community that they don't really think it is worth it to come out.
But there are
Because
so many
if you
players
are,
who
I'll,
are
I'll,
playing it.
I'll tell you the concept. What is the reasoning? I think I understand it well enough. Let's say if I am in my school, okay,
Mhm.
or even in my college, if I am a football player, if I am a soccer player, if I am a
You
basketball
are visible.
I am visible, okay, even if I'm not visible. Eventually, eventually, my when I practice basketball, when I do something, when I play something, people will immediately identify it and people will immediately incentivize it. They will be like, oh my god, he's a basketball player, he's an athlete. Or it's very visible somehow because the sports are so much recognized. And when you tell someone about like, okay, you know what, I am a national level basketball player, they'll be like, wow, because there are so many followers, like crazy followers of the sports. Whereas in chess, there are followers. It's not like there are not followers. The only thing is they don't really seek out for players' connections directly. They are like, I'll watch myself in my own time. I'll play myself, I guess. They are not really, how do I say, die hard followers who would like be incentivizing when they see someone who is at national level, or even general population. Very less people validate that okay, he's just clear, he's a great guy. It's not really a thing. So that is why there is no benefit in me coming out as a chess player and saying that, oh, you know what, I'm a national level chess player. Who cares? That's the way it was when I began playing chess. Ties are turning these days. These days, when you say that, people actually starting to value it, which I like. But it is one of the main reasons why chess community is kind of like, how do you say, like hibernated, as you say, because it's not really appreciated as much as other sports.
But it's very difficult to take once you're a sports person, it's very difficult to take that sports out of you, right? And that not only happens in chess but everywhere, and that's why I'm saying it, because we wanted to take context to now collision, where we went there for basically UInSports and approaching the investors from the perspective of UInSports, right? And obviously I took you there as a volunteer, being a UInSports, and there this guy is with me. But then maybe you can tell that how that chase is happening there as well.
Yeah, chess is everywhere. First of all, just so you guys know. So this is quite an interesting story of the collision event again back in last year's summer. To give you a bit of a context, collision was the Olympics of Tech. It is called the tech conference held in Toronto, where UInSports, the startup, we went there to represent the startup and we had a booth and stuff like that. In one of the after parties, I believe in the first after party itself, before the second day or first day, I think We were there networking with a lot of businessmen, business people. No idea of chess. Of course, I carried my
investors.
Yes, we were talking with investors, trying to pitch about the idea of a startup as an IT company and stuff like that. No idea of meeting anyone regarding non-IT related stuff. Like no idea of meeting someone who was in sports. Like we just had idea of investors and businessmen being there. And there, it's late night. We are about to leave an hour before leaving, and I am still pitching to people. I'm still trying to meet people and talk with people, and I come across someone who is asking me, "Hey, how are you?" And I see his ID card and it says Arya Shah, and I'm like, I think I had recognized this name from lockdown. So interesting story. In lockdown, when I was like active a lot on Discord, I had to make connections, made a lot of friends, trying to help a lot of YouTubers and streamers. Just as a curiosity, like I liked involving myself with chess community. I came across this guy who was born in India but lived in US for a long time. His name is Arya Shah, and he had a great streaming career back in lockdown. And surprisingly enough, now imagine I am in India talking with this guy online who's in USA.
And you never saw.
Never. I mean, I saw him on photo, like in video streaming, but never like saw him because I'm in Gujarat. No hint of even going to US in near future. So now I'm in Canada, not even in US. I'm still in Canada, not in US. And so what is happening is I'm seeing someone who I'm like, okay, I recognize this. So I'm like, are you Arya Shah? Do I know you? Do you know someone whose name is Kahan? And he was like, hang on, I think I know who is Kahan. Are you the guy from Discord? I am like, yeah. And we have like, I have literally given my passwords and stuff to him for using some stuff. So that's how close we got in lockdown. And it was really surprising. And we just took 4 to 5 minutes of pause to recognize what wonders happen. Like how wonderful things can happen. Like in lockdown, we went online, and then in Toronto, out of no context. And the context of collision is a business conference. Who could imagine that two chess friends would meet up? And and that was awesome experience that we hung out and we had dinner, and we shared contacts, and I am still in touch with him, and he's still doing some chess stuff in U of T. He's active, he's a student in U of T, and he has his own startup stuff going on as well. So it's kind of very coincidental and honestly miraculous that this kind of things can happen. Small world we live in.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, that was quite a story from collision.
That's a quite a story. But with that story, I think we are at our conclusion. And but before we conclude, what is next? What is next? Being Kahan Desai as a chess player, chess coach, and being Kahan Desai who's finishing his graduation. So what is next?
Well, I am still halfway of my graduation, so there is still more time where I will be doing part-time chess gigs.
Yeah.
But in terms of absolute future, my idea has always been that I'm going to do a full-time career in software and computer science. And the idea is that I'll have weekends to myself, which I'll be completely using to do some sort of chess, either chess tutoring or chess tournaments or just volunteering, but some or the other way, because I feel
you
like
will still be connected with chess.
definitely, and even in the evenings, like honestly, for me, that is the source of entertainment, like entertainment as in recreation or as in I see the beauty and I am like, okay, wow, this is awesome, and so it can't go.
Yeah, I know.
If anything, I'll modify my career so that it can accommodate chess. If anything,
chess will follow you.
Yes. But so things like these are my ideas. But yeah.
And we wish you best of luck. I know you are searching for your co-op as well. So for that also best of luck. And definitely we will be in touch. I'm not leaving you so soon. But with that we can conclude today's episode. And once again, thank you from UInSports and from all of our audiences. Thank you for coming on our show. Really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And I
My
know
pleasure.
that's the stories like this really works quite well, and that's why we say that once a sports person, always is a sports person. So this is all about Kahan Desai in today's episode, our friends. And thank you so much for staying with us. And please follow UInSports podcast channel. Once a sports person, always is a sports person. If you have any suggestion for us, or if you want to see anyone, please put their names in a comment. If you want, like you want to come on the show, please feel free to comment about that as well. And we are looking forward to that. So till the time we see next time, thank you so much. Bye bye.